Hello there, I'm Dave Allen, I'm doing Geeky, and I want to show you how to recreate this design I've got on the screen at the moment. And basically it's because someone was asking how to do a warp of some text so that it was curved at the bottom and straight at the top there, and that's what we've got on the screen. So let's see how we would recreate this. And what I want to do first of all is I want to put the background in there, so let's put a rectangle there to cover the whole of this area here. And we've got it filled with purple at the moment, but we don't want to keep the purple, so let's... Okay, so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the vintage colour in the background of it, so I'm going to grab that and drop it in there. So here's our text. I've got Optima Extra Black, and let's just put it here in the centre for the moment. We'll place it exactly where we want it later. And I'm going to bring that down just a wee bit as well. Okay, so what we want to do with that is we want to warp it. So what we need to do to warp it is we need to go into the layers panel. So we're on the layers panel, and then we go to the warp tool, and I'm going to put the quad warp on it. So with the quad warp on it, now what I'm going to do is I'm going to drag this end down, hold down the shift key so it comes down straight, and I'm going to do the same on the other side. This is just so it gives me some room to put the curve on the bottom there. And then all I've got to do there is go into the middle of this here and just drag that up. And we've got a curve on there. Lovely. I mean, you could do something with this here as well if you wanted to. Bring that in there like that there. Make a different sort of curve on it. Now what we want to do is we want to put some effects in there and some contours. And I found that the best way to do this is after you've done some warping on this is actually to convert it to curves. So converted it to curves is not like any part of being warped. But that's okay. We can work with this down. We can actually sort of put some effects on there. So let's get some colour in there. So let's get our fill tool, start at the top there, come down here, then we're going to choose some colours, and the colours that we had before were some blues and so on. So let's choose, we've got the bottom one selected, so let's go to colour, and we'll change that to a darker sort of blue there. Okay, so we've got that colour at the bottom there. I'm going to have a different colour in the middle here. I want that to be a dark colour, so let's put that dark colour in there. And then at the top there, we're going to go for a bright sort of blue sort of colour. So let's grab that there. And then we're going to go for blue. And that one in the middle, I think it needs to be a bit darker. So let's grab that one again and make that sort of kind of almost black. Okay, so a nice dark bluey sort of indigo black on there. Okay, so that's good. And the bottom here, let's just change that again. Make it a little bit lighter just so it shows up better. Okay, so that's the colours done there. Lovely. We could do this with a gradient overlay as well. That's another possibility. Okay, so what we want to do with this now is we want to put an outline on it as well. So let's go for outline. And with the outline, and I think we need a white outline on that one there. So we get the colour and make that white. And then let's have another colour as well, because we can have more than one colour on this here. So let's duplicate effect. Okay, so I've got the white there. I've done the wrong way around. Let's go back to this one here. I want this one to be white. That's the inside one. Okay, you've got white first, and then this one here, this is to be the blue one. Okay, so that's kind of looking the way we want it on that there now, so that's cool. Let's go for 3D as well, and we've got 3D on these letters as well. And let's put a rectangle around this here. Let's get the layers panel in here so we can see it better as well. And this should be going down there. Transparency tool, start here and work our way up. And hold the shift key so it just goes straight from there. Okay, so that's cool. And then it's got some shapes at the bottom there. So let's go to this here, and we'll use the ellipse tool to get these. And something about like that sort of shape there. Let's get that there, put it down here. Command J, bring that across here. And then I'm going to join those two together, use the compound tool. So plus those, and then what I want to do with this is I want to put an outline of this. So I want a stroke of about that much there, and then I'm going to do expand stroke. So let's have that one there, and then what I'm going to do with this one here is I'm going to select that, and then I'm going to cut into it using the compound tool again. So this time do a minus. So I've got a gap in between them now, which is great. That's what I want. Okay, so I've got this extra bit here which I don't want. So let's select this here. Let's go to the layer, and I'm going to go to geometry and separate curves. I'm going to get that and delete it. Okay, that's great. On the design there was a bit of a sort of a shading down here. Let's get this vintage brown paper, put that in there. Let's try this rustic one. Okay, so that's good. And then what I'll do is I'm going to make a copy of that. So I'll do Command J. And then the one on top, I'll put something else into that there because I want some colour into it. So let's go to the Fill tool. And then the Fill tool is going to come from here across. And for some reason I've got that style in there. That's not what I want. I can rotate it with that there. I can get this here and bring it in. So I can affect the design that way. Or I can stretch it out that way. Okay, there's my Fill tool. Start at the bottom of here, come up here. And at the top of here I'm going to have a lighter colour. So let's change that to that sort of colour. Go for a bit of a teal sort of colour on that one there, maybe a little bit darker. That's good, that's kind of like as we want it there. And also what I'm going to do with this, I'm going to do it so that instead of being normal, I'm going to have it so that it multiplies. And that'll give us our texture from underneath. So if I go to this here, you can see now we've got some texture. Let's select this here. And it's got an outline too. I don't want that outline. Let's get rid of the outline. Okay, so that's the outline gone. Good. Now what I want to do is I want to put a sort of bit of shading on this bit here. So let's find our way to get some shading in there. One way to do this would be to use one of our brushes. Let's get the vector brush tool, and basically I'll just start here, across here, around here. It doesn't look right what we want at the moment, but let's just do this in for the moment, and we'll change the brush afterwards. Vector shader brushes, that'll be good, I think. So that's good. We've got a bit of shading going on there as we want it. We can go and get our node editing tool here and delete a couple of these nodes here because we've got 2 nodes in there. Put that in there. Let's get these and bring them all down a wee bit. And let's delete some of those nodes there. Bring that down there. Basically just sort of tidying up some of these nodes here. And let's get that. Let's go into the layers panel now. Where's this rectangle with a bit of blue at the bottom? Place. So let's get this curve here and put it there. And I'm going to duplicate that. So I have that duplicated and move it up just a wee bit. And then I'm going to put a lighter colour in there. Select those 2 there. And with that, what I want to do is I want to have it so it's on multiply. So that kind of does the trick, doesn't it? It sort of puts a bit of shading on the outside of that there. That's one way of doing it. Okay, so how I did that was to put a brush stroke around the outside, around on this rectangle here, and then have the brush stroke set to just the inside. So that's one way of doing it, except this a bit thin on this bit here. So that's not really the best way. I think the best way to do it was the way I did it before. I'm going to give that a brush stroke. Choose a brush stroke that I like, and then make it so that it goes on the inside. Take this and put it inside this curve here. Okay, that's kind of good. Take the opacity down a bit to make it look a bit better. And then what I perhaps would do with that is to make a duplicate of it. So let's do Command and J. And just make the colour a little bit lighter. 2 different brushes in there now. Let's do Command J again. Bring it up just a tad. Change the colour in it a little bit. So this is Dave Allen, I'm good and geeky. If you've learned something from this video, don't forget that it's a good idea to subscribe so you can see when I've got more tutorials up. And don't forget to like the video as well. Bye bye now.